critical analysis and appreciation for the film We Live in Time. We Live in Time is a masterpiece because it conveys something fundamental about human nature that many dramatic films overlook. The secrets we hold closest inside prevent us from truly living. Through its ingenious, nonlinear structure and deep examination of two people learning to be honest with each other under the most dire circumstances, the film reveals that love isn't just about finding someone. It's about having the courage to be completely seen and known by them. But above all, the film asks and answers the question, is it possible to create a happy cancer movie? What happened? Most movies about illness are told in chronological order, past to present to future, sad for the survivors. However, We Live in Time differs delightfully in the way it presents the chronology of scenes to us. It's helpful to view films as systems that transfer information from the screen and sound into the heads of viewers. It's further beneficial to consider each scene as a unit of information that impacts all the information gathered before that scene. To put it in modern terms, the viewer's model of the narrative being told changes with each scene, much like an iterative AI prompt that morphs over time with new information. This movie opens with a pretty woman named Almut running with a weight on her back. And immediately we're asking questions. Where is she going? Why the bird? We watch her clip flowers, collect eggs from chickens, forage ingredients, and then serve a meal to a handsome sleeping man whose opinion matters to her. Almut is someone who gathers things and puts them together, but we don't yet understand what she's collecting. Through its masterful time shifts, the film reveals that this woman is dying of ovarian cancer, and the man is Tobias, her partner, who chronicles their life together in careful notebooks. However, the story doesn't unfold chronologically because that's not how love works, nor is it how secrets work in stories. In a good story, secrets accumulate in layers and are revealed through moments of crisis and tenderness. We learn that Tobias began this journey as a lonely professional man who signed divorce papers and wandered into traffic in his bathrobe, literally looking for something, anything. His pen broke signing the documents in his hotel room, a perfect metaphor for how the tools we use to end one chapter of our lives can break when we need them most. Now, on a whim, he buys a chocolate orange with the pins and ends up dropping the orange in the street. He bends down to pick it up, unaware that the world is going on with its life, while he is in the midst of an existential crisis. When Almut's car strikes him down, she metaphorically kills him and then oversees his resurrection. I ran you over, she says in the hospital room, while he stares at this beautiful creature sitting in front of him, dumbfounded. That's all right, he responds. From the very beginning, their relationship is built on her destroying him and then helping him come back to life. But what will that life be like? Both of them are keeping secrets early in their relationship. Almut tells him early on that kids aren't her thing, and cooking is her thing. When he presses her about children because he's falling in love and needs to know where she stands, she explodes. She says, "Back the fuck off and calm the fuck down. What's the rush?" His honesty terrifies her when he says, "Because I'm worried that there's a very distinct and real possibility that I'm about to fall in love with you." And her response to that reveals how deeply she fears vulnerability. She says, "I'm sorry, I'm just not the kind of person who is interested in making that kind of promise, and fuck you for even asking." So they break up because of this collision between his need for transparency and her instinct for self-protection. But when she faces her second cancer diagnosis, something changes. They have had a child and they aren't married, but they have an understood commitment. But Tobias wants to offer Almut more than that, so he creates a candlelit pathway to their sitting room and writes his heart's words down for his dying lover. Hands shaking, he hands her what he's written down, and it must be a marriage vow because she responds affirmatively. and they're going to do this. Now, viewers don't get to read or hear those words because they're just for the lovers, but this moment of private truth-telling becomes the foundation of their marriage proposal. Tobias already loves Almit in sickness, and he is professing here that he will love her after her death. The marriage is a sacramentalization of this love that's already evident before the viewer. The film's most brutal and beautiful sequence happens in flashback to when Almit goes into labor in a gas station bathroom. Caught in traffic with nowhere else to go, she gives birth under the worst possible circumstances except for one crucial fact. She's completely safe, cared for by the man who delivers their child into the world. This scene doesn't shy away from the raw animal reality of birth. We feel every contraction, hear every groan, and experience all the sounds and drama. But what makes this scene transcendent is how Tobias meets this moment completely without reservation or squeamishness. He steps fully into the mess and miracle of creating life with Almit, and we watch them become parents. We watch them change before our eyes. This film is about change in the face of destruction. It's about understanding the perspective that matters and leads to a meaningful life, despite the amount of calendar time we are allotted in our short existence on planet Earth. Yet, even as their love deepens, Almit continues to hide pieces of herself. When they meet each other's families, Tobias discovers she was a champion figure skater, an incredible achievement she'd never mentioned. No one knows about it, she tells him later, and he's left wondering if that means he's no one to her. Her father died of illness when she was young, and she gave up skating, losing both her competitive window and her joy in the sport. This pattern of abandoning pieces of herself rather than fighting for them echoes throughout the story and will culminate in a massive showdown on television. When her cancer returns and metastasizes, Almit faces a choice between 6 months of livable life or 12 months of suffering through aggressive treatment. The doctors recommend she give up her career as a world-class chef, but then she gets a text offering her a spot on the UK team for a major culinary competition broadcast on international television. This becomes the film's central conflict because Almit chooses to spend her final months of life training for this competition instead of focusing on her health and family. That's a tough choice to defend. Tobias is devastated. She's prioritizing the cooking competition over their marriage, over their young daughter, over her own health. "Grow up, Almit," he finally explodes, and her response reveals the more profound truth she's been hiding. "I don't just want to be someone's dead fucking mom. Nothing terrifies me more than her having nothing to remember me by. There's a bit of me that is fucking desperate for her to know that I didn't just give up." This is the moment when her secret keeping finally gives way to honesty. She's not abandoning them. She's terrified of being forgotten. Wouldn't it be quite the thing, she says, if maybe one day their daughter Ella decided to look back on this time, actually chose to look back on this entire godforsaken episode and thought, wow, that's my mom. She says, "I don't want my relationship with Ella to be solely defined by my decline. Or maybe I can't bear the thought of being forgotten. I'm not sure which is worse." This is the happiest cancer movie I've seen. So what does it mean? The film's nonlinear structure isn't a gimmick. It's the perfect formal expression of how secrets work in relationships. Truth doesn't emerge chronologically. It surfaces through crisis pressures that break through into moments where characters can no longer hide or hold back. The time shifts feel natural and welcome in We Live in Time because they mirror how humans process love and loss, not as a straight line from beginning to end, but as a series of emotional revelations that recontextualize everything we thought we understood. The whole operation of working through emotional problems in this manner reveals a healthy, functioning mind. Cinema is a system of information exchange, and We Live in Time understands that the most crucial information isn't plot points, It's the gradual revelation of who these people are and why what they built together, though commonplace, is miraculous. Each time a shift occurs, it provides another piece of the puzzle, another layer of understanding about why Almec collects things and assembles them, why she carries weight on her back, and why she's so afraid of making promises. The film's visual language reinforces this theme of hidden and revealed truths. Almec's morning routine of foraging and collecting eggs becomes a metaphor for how she approaches relationships. She gathers the elements she needs, but keeps the recipe to herself. Even when she serves Tobias the meal made from her foraging, she's controlling the narrative, presenting only the finished product while hiding the work that went into it. The figure skating revelation is devastating to Tobias because it reveals how much Almec keeps hidden, even from the person she loves most. However, it also explains her competitiveness, perfectionism, and tendency to abandon things rather than fight for them when circumstances become difficult. She gave up skating when her father died, just as she initially tried to give up the possibility of children when faced with Tobias's desire for a family. She's not the kind of person who makes those kinds of promises. That's who she was when we meet her. The gas station birth sequence is the emotional center of this movie. Everyone is vulnerable in this scene. There are no secrets possible when you're howling in a bathroom, pushing out a baby underneath fluorescent lights in a gas station shithouse. Almec is fully exposed to Tobias and the two clerks in the gas station, and Tobias is at his most present in the movie. However, even after that moment of ultimate intimacy when their child is born, Almec continues to maintain patterns of secrecy. After she was diagnosed the second time and chose to prioritize the cooking competition over her cancer treatment, she hid her competition training from Tobias. She doesn't tell him the live competition is scheduled to be filmed on their wedding day. He printed up flyers and she didn't tell him. Almec makes questionable choices in the face of oblivion, but she is trying to accomplish something that will speak for her after she's gone. Her breakdown about not wanting to be someone's dead fucking mom is so powerful because it finally explains the logic behind her seemingly selfish choices. She's not abandoning her daughter or her baby's father. She's trying to create something they can be proud of, something that transcends her decline and proves that she exited this life against her will. She stood proud until she was knocked to the ground. Why does it matter? We live in time reveals that the secrets we keep to protect ourselves are like mental prison bars. Almec spends this entire film afraid of being truly known, first hiding her reluctance about having children, then her skating career, and finally her deepest fears about being forgotten. But every moment of genuine connection in their relationship happens when she stops hiding and tells Tobias the truth. For his part, Tobias always tells the truth. He's incapable of lying, and that is a weakness of which he seems aware. He was killed and brought back to life by the same person, and he is wholly dedicated to her joy and happiness during her short time on planet Earth. On paper, Tobias could be called a flat character. In this film, he's an angel of mercy who suffers and becomes the goal that Almec sought through the fecklessness of reality television. He is the voice that tells their daughter her story of who she was and how deeply she loved being alive and cooking incredible food for others to savor. Their first day together, following their first night together, begins with a mutual confession. "I have nothing," he says. "I have nothing," she responds. Not accomplishments or possessions, but an admission of emptiness that creates space for each other. When he tells her he's falling in love, her initial response is defensive and angry, but this honesty is exactly what allows their relationship to deepen. The marriage proposal scene is powerful because it occurs after he has written down words meant only for her, and she has faced the reality of her mortality. Almec is running out of time and choices, and that is a tragedy. But could it also be a triumph? That's a significant question this film presents. In a moment of acceptance of mortality, pretense is impossible. There's nothing we can do with a fact but accept it. All else is pretense when it comes to facts. Tobias already loves Almut in sickness, but she loved him just as much in her sickness, and here's the secret at the heart of the show. The first time Almut had ovarian cancer, they had treatment choices they didn't get the second time around. The first choice was a full hysterectomy. They'd take it all. This choice was the safest and healthiest. They could always freeze eggs and adopt a child. The second choice was a partial hysterectomy. They'd still have a chance to make a baby. Incredibly, Almut chooses before they discuss it, and it's to give Tobias the baby he wants so intensely to create and care for with her. In a modern twist on the contemporary oddity of fucking before holding hands, these characters have a child together before considering a commitment to marriage. Still, Almut finally and freely accepts Tobias's undying love by saying yes to marriage. This isn't romantic idealism. It's the recognition that being fully known, seen, and cared for while in decline is better than being alone with ambition and talent. The film's treatment of Almut's final choice isn't about sacrifice or settling. It's about the moment when she finally understands that her real victory isn't out there in the applause of strangers, but rather her worth as a human lies in the eyes of the people who knew all her secrets and love her anyway. She scans the cheering crowd and realizes that her self-worth isn't out there. It's with her soon-to-be husband and their beautiful child and the way they make her feel. Even though her life will be too short, it will also be too filled, overflowing, so that her presence and her spirit will live on in the hearts of the people who loved her and who will take that love and put it into other people so it can grow and transfer like a virus of best intentions. The film ends with little Ella and Tobias collecting eggs from the chickens. Almut is no longer here to collect the eggs, which represent continuity for the viewer. The gathering of ingredients to make a meal became the gathering of people and moments to make a life. The last time we see Almut on screen, she is skating away from her family on the ice, and they briefly share her joy restored on skates. Her family waves goodbye, and so does the viewer. Beyond the obvious death metaphor, skating away represents the parts of ourselves we think we have to abandon to love and be loved. We don't have to leave them, and it may be impossible to do so. Instead, we must find the proper places to put these memories, emotions, sadness, joy, and longing. Friends, we project these elements onto the movies and then display them at a consistent speed through light and sound. This seemingly simple movie about a young family dealing with terminal cancer teaches a great deal about love and life if you have the wisdom and patience to pay attention. As for the movie's final meaning, honesty isn't just morally superior to secrecy, it's also more effective as a tool for cultivating happiness. Every moment of truth-telling in the primary relationship of this film creates deeper intimacy, while every secret creates distance and misunderstanding. When Tobias finally yells at Almut to grow up, he's not being cruel. He's demanding that she stop treating him like someone who can't handle her whole truth. We Live in Time is a masterpiece because it understands that love isn't about finding someone who never challenges us or never sees us at our worst. It's about finding someone brave enough to tell us the truth about ourselves and someone we trust enough to be completely honest with in return. When we commit to a marriage in front of all our family and friends, when we say the words, "I do," a new entity is born. And when one of the spouses sacrifices, as they all must, they are sacrificing not to the other person, but to the relationship. In marriage especially, the secrets we keep end up holding us back. But the truth, even when it's painful, even when it reveals our fears and flaws, sets us free to live fully in the time we have. In a world of cookie-cutter AI crap, writing movies through the lens of a Brené Brown bot, this movie, We Live in Time, dares to suggest that real intimacy requires radical honesty, not just about our accomplishments and dreams, but about our fears, our failures, our deep certainty that we're not enough. Almut's journey from someone who says no one knows about it to someone willing to be seen entirely is a blueprint for how to be human with another human being. This film will endure, not because it has a perfect happy ending. Almut still dies. Time still runs out. There's no infinity stone to fix this problem. However, the superpower featured in this movie is living fully in the present moment, whatever time we have. The chronology of events becomes irrelevant when we're brave enough to be completely known. It's all at once and forevermore. Being seen by someone like that and having the profound privilege of seeing someone else like that is all any of us can hope for. To love someone enough to tell them the truth and to be loved enough that they can handle it.